squash, summer squash in particular, have been cultivated by the Native Americans for over 5,000 years, and it's nice to know that we're still using them and finding new ways to do so. Today I'm going to make zucchini and pecans, and to start I've got just a small amount of vegetable oil, extra virgin oil or olive oil or canola oil. It's about a teaspoon to 2 teaspoons. Going to add to that 1 clove of garlic that's been minced or chopped well. You don't want to let that get too brown, so we're not going to give it much time, just maybe about 30 seconds is all. Just enough time to let that smell come out and for everybody in the house to come in and find out what you're doing. To that, I'm going to add 3 to 4 zucchini that I have chopped with a mandolin, made them like matchsticks, and I'm going to use as many as the pan will hold because they are going to collapse somewhat. Now, because these are cut so fine as matchstick pieces, they're going to cook really, really quickly. So the recipe says 3 to 4 minutes. That's going to be based on how much chopping you want to do. If you're doing it by hand, you may not get them quite as small, or you may use a French fry cutter instead of the julienne cutter, which is the one I use. And that'll give you bigger pieces, and you may need the 4 to 5 minutes to go with that. So just going to stir those around enough to get them a little bit coated. And then I'm going to add the other ingredients, which is about 1/4 cup of onions. Red onions is what I'm using, that have been sliced. And I cut them in long slices this way simply because I wanted them to sort of reflect the same kind of cut as the zucchini did. I've got 1/4 cup of red pepper that we've chopped up to accent all the other colors. Let me see, I've got 1/8 teaspoon of salt and 1/8 teaspoon of white pepper. And we're going to let those just mellow down a little bit. Now, I use zucchini, but you could use any other yellow squash, whether it be yellow squash, patty pan squash, any kind you have is going to work equally well for this. And the thing about zucchini in particular, and some of the others also, is that a lot of the nutrients, the beta-carotene, for example, is concentrated in the skin. So some people will peel zucchini, but you're going to get a lot more nutrition if you leave that skin on, and it adds a lot of color. If you switch to another color of squash, you may also want to change and use a different color of bell pepper. You may, with yellow, you may decide that green bell pepper looks better. The last thing that's going in here is about 2 tablespoons of toasted pecans. Now remember, toasting pecans is really simple. You spread them out on a cookie sheet or in a small pan, put them in the oven at about 350 degrees for anywhere from 5 to 12 minutes. It varies a little bit based on how cold the pecan is. If you're pulling it out of the freezer, it's going to take a little bit longer. But remember, they're going to continue to darken after they come out, so don't cook them until they're the color you want. Take it out, let it cool a little bit, taste one, see if it's got the flavor that you like, and go from there. I don't want to cook these too much. I don't want the zucchini to get too soft because it'll turn to mush on me since we've cut it so finely. The onion in here is still going to be pretty raw, which is why the red onion works so well. Gives it a nice mellow flavor, whereas a sharper onion would probably not work too well. And I'm going to sprinkle just a few more onions on the top, or a few more pecans on the top, excuse me. There you go. It's a really nice way to use up some of that extra zucchini that you have coming off in the fall. This is Zucchini and Pecans for Oklahoma Gardening. This is Barbara Brown.